on a little artist adventure, a little art date today because I have realized that I have not left the house in a very long time. So I decided I'm going to take myself downtown and go see the Art Institute, which surprisingly haven't been there in a very long time. And before that, I also wanted to stop by this place called the Drawing Room. It's kind of like this cool lobby area that's open to the public. So I'm just about to grab my stuff and head out. So I did a lot of life drawing in college, but it wasn't until this previous year specifically that I really started to enjoy going out and sketching at different places. I cannot recommend it enough. First of all, it totally leveled up my drawing skills. I haven't seen this type of improvement in my volumetric and gesture drawing in years. It also taught me how to take my sketches and my art a little less seriously, because you genuinely just don't have the time to worry about how a drawing looks before you move on to the next one. Also, the added bonus that it gets me out of the house and interacting with community, which I think is super important, especially for remote artists like myself. So I thought in this little short vlog, I'd walk through how I go about drawing in public and maybe share some quick tips. When it comes to location, I'd say the easiest places to start are always at a cafe or someplace like a library, study area that you can sit down at a table and work. Though there's so many fun options like museums and festivals or just outside in public spaces when it's not absolutely freezing out. Thank you, Chicago. So it's really up to you where you want to go. For supplies, I love smaller hardcover notebooks because they're easier to carry around, and I discovered I really enjoy landscape style sketchbooks. One tip I have is I challenge you to maybe leave the graphite pencils at home. It can be really daunting to go in right away with pen or marker, but realistically it prevents you from trying to erase and forces you to make more confident strokes. If that's too much, even using a colored pencil at first would work great. I've been really loving the dual brush pens by Tombow lately. Now for the big question, how do you go about drawing people? Unless I'm standing, generally I kind of tuck away my sketchbook behind my bag or pencil case, so most people can't tell what I'm doing. They probably just assume I'm writing or studying, so I don't really stand out very much. I don't blatantly stare at people, I'll mostly look up and down or from the corner of my eye. They are doing their own thing. There's been very few times I've made like direct eye contact, and in those cases I pretend I'm thinking or just spacing out, and that's it. I've never had someone come up to me and be like, "What the hell are you doing? How dare you draw me?" In fact, I've had other people stop by just to say what I'm doing is really cool. I love those moments because yes, they're kind of validating, but also you get to connect with another person, even if it's super briefly. Now, after the drawing room, I walked over to the Art Institute, which was nearby, and I want to talk a bit about my experience with art museums. Frankly, I did not like them for the longest time. I thought they were really boring, and I would be like weirdly self-conscious that I'm looking at the art wrong somehow. Yeah, I know. However, my museum trip to Amsterdam ended up totally changing my perspective. I realized everyone truly has their own way of experiencing art. Some people want to know the history and context of every painting. Others just want to walk around and vibe and maybe take cute photos, and everything in between. And all of those are perfectly valid ways of enjoying an art museum. I found that going on my own is more fulfilling because I can kind of go at my own pace. Also, I admit I don't really care too much about the context of a piece or gallery unless it's a really interesting topic. I realized I am much more engaged if I focus on the technical and design aspects of the art, like values and colors and composition. I love trying to break down artist techniques. And I realized it is so fun to do museum art studies. It's very refreshing from what I usually do. Things like doing sketches of statues or 3D objects, or doing value studies on a painting I like. This way I get to engage with one piece for a longer time and kind of build a connection with it, and I don't end up with this brain fog after looking at a million different art pieces for like 5 seconds. Small caveat though, if you do want to try this, I believe this museum only lets you bring pencils, so just consider the rules and regulations wherever you go. Lastly, just to reiterate, don't worry about your drawings looking good. Most of the ones I do, I don't share online. Unless I'm making an active effort, my layouts aren't beautiful compositions. It's really about learning how to observe, be able to translate forms into drawings. And maybe if you end up with something you like, you can go back later and clean it up. I'd love to hear about your experiences with art museums. Do you like them? Is there a certain way you like to experience them? Are they even relevant anymore? Let me know in the comments if you'd like to share. Otherwise, we are coming to the end, and I want to encourage any questions about life drawing, and I'd be happy to share my thoughts. Hi, so I just got out of the art museum. I honestly did not get to everything I wanted to see. It was larger than I remember it being, and it's getting kind of late, so I'm gonna head back.